Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Donald Trump's administration orders a lot of things, great things that satisfy me. The problem is this: sometimes you say things or you try to do things knowing that those things could not ever be implemented. They will be stopped somewhere in the process. Therefore, you do it, you say it. I hope that's not the case. I understand in the political system, in politics, in the world, in life in general, we have different interests and we fight against other people's interests. We have different ideologies. We like different things. So I understand that if a president comes and signs some executive orders, you're going to have some that don't like the policies ordered by the president. The same is true for each side. Whomever gets in power and is going to impose its will, because that's the way it is, they represent their constituency. Therefore, when the other guys are on the opposition, are going to try to put roadblocks along the way. That should be both ways. Why? Why do I want to do what you tell me to do? And vice versa. So, what's going on here? I'm going to show you some sweeping policies that Donald Trump ordered. Now, it doesn't mean they will be implemented, because they will be challenged in courts by judges, appointed judges. All right, but that's good. I like checks and balances. I like that. Let's start with the first orders. It has to do with transgenderism in the military, with DEI, with diversity, equity, inclusion, things that, should not have happened in the first place. And I will show you. Let's start with the first article. So here is the first article. Trump administration orders sweeping freeze of federal aid. I have also two other topics here. One, these guys, the media, started attacking Trump in a way that they didn't attack the other guy, which tells me on whose side they are, the operatives. That's why I call them operatives. A transgender person sues Trump, and you're going to find out why. And Trump supposedly goes after his enemies now. He just started. Well, let's see if the enemies were not the first ones who attacked Trump. So you expect me, after you attack me, just to go home and cry like a pussy? All right, but this is how media portrays it. Trump attacks his opponents. He's just a bad dude. All right, so let's go with the first article. So, sweeping freeze of federal aid. For what, I wonder? President Donald Trump budget Monday office ordered a total freeze of all, and I'm quoting, all federal financial assistance that could be targeted under his previous executive orders, pausing funding for a wide range of priorities. What are the priorities? Now, that's normal. When you take office, you go over there, you take charge, you say, okay, stop. Everything stops right now if you can, and let's analyze one by one each program and see if it's good, if it's not that good, or if it's bad, and we reshape it. That's how you work. No, you don't just let it be and you move on. There are certain things that need to be taken care of. So, domestic infrastructure, energy projects, to diversity-related programs, and foreign aid. All right, so remember, this is just stuck in there. Stuck. And I will show you. So, the use of federal resources to advance, I'm quoting, Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal social engineering policies is a waste of taxpayer dollars that does not improve the day-to-day lives of those we serve, end quote, according to the memo, which 3 people authenticated. So they say this is the memo about Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal. Well, why do we have this in the first place? I disagree with that kind of equity. With this thing, I don't care what people do in their private lives, as long as it's not imposed on me, or they get perks from me from something, or they impose on me this ideology. And Green New Deal, I disagree with the way these guys are trying to portray it. They're going to take our money, they're going to tax the shit out of us. That's what it is, my friends. That's what it is. All right, let's see here the next article. White House pauses all federal grants, sparking confusion, the Washington Post says. And we got a Stein right here. You got a Jeff Stein, Jacob, right? Great, beautiful. And there is the angel. Man, you can say this guy is not funny. All right. So he pauses all grants and loans disbursed by the federal government, according to an internal memo. So let's see what this guy is doing right here. The memo, a copy of which was obtained by the Washington Post, also calls for each agency to perform a comprehensive analysis, correct, to ensure its grants and loans programs are consistent with President Donald Trump's executive orders, which aimed to ban federal diversity, equity, and inclusion garbage, and limit clean energy spending, among other measures. So for these guys in Washington Post, which is Jeff Bezos' newspaper, just so you know, Washington Post, and we have here, they tell you exactly what they want you to understand. So we have the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and energy. All right, I disagree with both issues. Next one. Trump administration swiftly enacts retribution. This is how NBC News reports. Retribution against political enemies. You know what retribution is? The way that these guys try to make it. Trump arrests them, put them in prison forever, or put them in front of a squad to look at them. You know what I mean? That would be retribution that these guys are trying to. They try to scare you. They try to scare half of the US population. That's what they do. This is a scare tactic right here. And see who are the three angels Trump is enacting retribution. Can you guess? Three baboons. Bolton, Dr. Fauci, my bad, and Milley, General Milley. Now, would you think that these guys were nice guys to Trump in the past, let's say, 4 years? Nah, no, they weren't. So you attack me, I'm gonna fuck you up. How about that one? All right, let's see how these guys are portraying the baboons. John Bolton, this guy should have been tarred and feathered and kicked out of the town a long time ago. A former White House National Security Advisor. That's a good, right there, good title. All right, who wrote a damning book on Trump's first term. Lost a Secret Service detail. I would have stripped him of that. I wouldn't have given him that. Everything that happens here, there are things that should not have been given to these mofos. Assigned to protect him from assassination threats from Iran. Iran said, we have no intention. What are you talking about? So, do I get a detail, Secret Service detail, if someone threatens me here? Which happened a lot. All right. After losing his detail, Anthony Fauci, hey, he's a doctor, the public health scientist, whom Trump called a disaster over his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and who has been a target of far-right anger ever since. Fire has hired his own private security team in response. Good. That's exactly what you should do. I should not pay for that. And I think that Dr. Fauci, in my world, in my imagination, my stupidity, should have been indicted, charged, and convicted and imprisoned for what he did to us. He didn't have power. He had the power to say, well, I suggest that you guys all should stay in the basement. That's my suggestion as a scientist. Now, the politician who hired you, or who you're in charge of, CDC or whatever you are over there, the politician, if he doesn't do what the scientist says, what do you think the media will do? Oh my God, he's a criminal. He endangers our well-being for the well-being. So therefore, this guy had more power than everybody else, as long as he was still in the position and he was featured by the media operatives. That's Dr. Fauci. If Dr. Fauci would have suggested that according to his scientific brain and his research says that we should all gouge our eye, one letter, right eye, because that would prevent us from COVID and from the deaths, and the president would not have done that. Each and every death over there would be blamed on that politician, which in that case was Trump. So he had so much power. And then after that he would say, well, maybe I was wrong regarding the masks. Remember the masks and other things? The masks, he said they work. Oh, I mean, come on. So what would you do with that? Make me be like a fucking dog? With the distancing and with that? Well, I want retribution too. And can I get in a cage with Fauci to talk to him? Give me 10 seconds. Depends how far we are. If we are close by, give me 1 second. All right, I solved the problem. Next one. A portrait of Mark Milley. Aww. The former Joint Chief of Staff Chairman. You see, these guys are mentioning, are using their, for good reason, how do you call that, their titles, to make you understand these guys are important people that should not have been important. None of these three should have been where they were. Who broke with Trump over a photo op at the church during George Floyd racial justice. Oh my God. Protest was abruptly removed from the walls of the Pentagon. Defense officials said had no idea who ordered it taken down or why. I'm supposed to cry over this? So this guy, they don't tell you that Mark Milley said that Trump is a fascist, has fascist tendencies, and others. So what is Trump supposed to do? And they gave you is because of the racial justice protest, George Floyd. Who would be against the protest? I mean, the social justice. See how these are making this? And this is a certain way of telling you the truth. What were the names again of the guys here? Peter Nicholas. Off. Next one. So we're supposed to cry for these three baboons. Now I would have gone in different places. Oh, let's see how Trump attacks the military now. Trump signs executive orders, plural, to reshape the military, including banning transgender troops. So this is the first, the most important thing for CNN. They should have just stopped right here. Boom. Right there. Trump signs executive orders to reshape the military. They tell you exactly why they're upset about this. First, my army, my military, I don't care if you're a midget, if you're a fat fuck, if you're a woman, if you're whatever you are, if you're transgender, I don't care. All I care is if you are the best in fighting. That's all I care. That's all I fucking care. But I don't want you to tell me that I have to be a little bit, treated a little bit different because I'm, okay? That's for me. I want you to be the best warrior. That's all I care. Now, why is that? Because these guys try to influence other people to behave in a certain way in the military. But they portray it, obviously, differently. My friends, this is going to be portrayed in the transgender community like a sign that Trump wants to them. You'll see, it's going to be portrayed as a war against them. First, I don't think that if you go to military, you have to be accommodated as such. That should not have been there. That's my view. That's my view. And these things where I identify as, I feel like I do that, you can have it in your fucking bedroom, in your house. You go on the street, but at work, if I tell you, sir, because I know you're a sir, you can't tell me, oh, fuck, blah, 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 blah. But I tell you, okay, from now I identify as God. Or maybe I identify as your boss. I go to my boss and say, from now on, I'm your boss. I identify as such. What are they going to do? You see, they know exactly that's an imbecility. Nevertheless, let's see what these guys are trying to make out of this garbage. President Donald Trump on Monday announced he has signed 4 executive orders that will reshape the military. And this is the most important. See, the first issue is right here, including banning transgender service members from serving in the U.S. military force. The second problem is gutting the military's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. I support that 100%. And reinstating with back pay service members who were discharged for refusing to get vaccinated for COVID-19. I call these guys heroes because one of them I was, but I didn't get fired. You know what? I even contemplated on identify as a guy who goes to the synagogue and say, I'm one of you guys, because I knew I would have been untouched at that point. If I would have said I'm a Christian and that's against they took a shit on us or on you. All right. Why? No things here. So over there, if I identify as, a Stein, even though those guys find you, say, you're not a Stein, and go to work and say, excuse me, Department of Health and Human Services, I'm sorry, I identify as, and I go to the rabbi and to the temple or to the synagogue, you can't touch me, it's against my religion and beliefs. They would have, how they would be run for fucking cover just like this. I know that it happened. Look in some cases in New York and you're going to find them. When people like that says, no, that's against. But with the other guys, them. Anyway, so those are the heroes. All right, my friends. Next one. Transgender woman, this is the heel, sues Trump over plan to move her to men's prison. First, I think that this person should not have been in a women's prison in the first place. I think in a normal, sane society. If you're not familiar with the issue, I will tell you, I made a few videos that YouTube did not like. When some people who identified as such, they were transferred to the women's penitentiary, to prisons, and they impregnated women over there, and they got pregnant with the transgender who identified as such. And besides, I don't have to go that far. No, man, you go over there, fuck you. Right? So, it's gonna sue. Based on what? Who implemented these things? No, Trump reversed them. I think it's a return to sanity, I would say. We'll see how these guys will be barred by appointed judges with a certain kind of political inclination. Good job, Trump. It's like I say, you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? If you vote for me, I'm going to, and I promise anything that it's impossible to be done, you're going to be like, look at this guy, man. Where's this guy from? Oh my God, I'm going to vote for him. When I get in power, I'll say, I'm going to write this executive order. I'm going to do this. And then the courts or the Supreme Court's going to strike it down. And that's it. I'm going, man, I tried. That's the way our system works. To a certain extent, it's okay. It's good. But then there are some things that we should not, as a society, there should be non-debatable. I mean, not in the way that you should not talk about it. I'm all for talking about anything. Talk about everything you want. But should not be an issue. Like, for instance, a child identifies and then we're going to give, know what I mean, and things because identification or snipping or... That should not even have been an issue for debate. That's my personal opinion as a free person. And under the Constitution, I'm allowed to have what the fuck ever opinion I want, without repercussions, including YouTube. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you later.